Hey guys, I'm Jamaica Lawrence and welcome back to my channel. So right now I am at the park. I'm doing my little exercise and my walking, you know, a whole little get down. Basically, this is just gonna be a little story time while I get my little walk on and try to work this out just a tad bit, you know. Today the story time is basically, it's just going to be about like my labor and delivery story and stuff like that. You know, pregnancy is a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. You know, it's an amazing thing. And we all have our own different experiences with it. Some are good, some are bad, some are in between. My experience was great because it was a new experience. It was a miraculous experience. But I did also have little issues and things like that. I'm gonna start off with, okay, I found out I was pregnant in 2017 in July, and for the first trimester, I basically, it was kind of a quick blur. I didn't have any morning sickness or anything like that. For the most part, it was pretty cool. I did not have an appetite at all. Like, probably up until my second trimester, like, I wasn't hungry at all. I was beginning to feel like I wasn't eating enough for the baby and stuff like that. So, you know, I was kind of a little bit worried in that time frame. But whenever I would talk to my doctor, he would just be like, you know, you're fine, everything like that. So when I got to my second trimester and those round ligament pains started happening, y'all, this shit ain't no joke. You hear me? Like, literally, I was in so much pain. And, you know, I had little issues, you know what I'm saying? You know, as black women, a lot of us do. We suffer from, from fibroids and stuff like that. So that does tend to take another little toll on our bodies whenever we do, you know, get pregnant and we have kids and everything like that. So, you know, I've been suffering with that for a while. And I would be literally in so much pain that I remember a couple of times I had to go to the emergency room because I just literally felt like my whole entire woo-ha was just gonna fall the hell out. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you, none of that. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, hey, what in the hell? What in the whole fuck, okay, is going on with me? So I literally around that time was having like some of the worst pain. I mean, I wouldn't be able to go to work, anything like that. So fast forward a little bit. Once I got to, I would say about my third trimester, everything was kind of going smoothly. For the most part, I was just so freaking tired. You know, like, once you get to that point where you cannot sleep, you can't really get comfortable at all, you know, where your hands is locking up, you know what I'm saying, because the baby be sleeping on all your nerves and everything like that. It just was getting to a point where I was like, I'm ready. What I gotta do? You know, I was like, shit. I was extremely ready to, you know, have him, you know. And when it was around like my 8th month and everything like that, my doctor was kind of nervous that I would have had him like a little premature. He was worried that maybe, you know, he might come a little bit earlier because of the fibroids. So that was something that I had to deal with. And phone cut off. My battery was about to die. But yeah, so anyway, my doctor thought I was going to have him prematurely around 8 months or whatever. So at that time, I was kind of taking it a little bit more easy. I was still working though, y'all. At that time, I still work at the same company, but at that time, I was measuring like big old them 18-wheeler trucks. I'm 9 months pregnant, walking out there, going down them stairs with measuring tape, measuring these long ass trucks. I'm telling you, like, a bitch was a trooper. You hear me? A bitch was a trooper. So I ended up taking my my maternity leave at least like a week, or I think 2 weeks early, because I was tired. I couldn't keep going and doing all that, measuring all them trucks. I couldn't do it no more. So my due date for him was April the 12th. And so I went to my doctor that Monday, which was April the, it was that Monday, so he was supposed to be born on that Thursday. So yeah, it was April the 9th, I want to say, that Monday. Yeah, it was April the 9th. And I hadn't had any issues with high blood pressure or anything like that up until that very last month. Then I started, you know, he felt like I was on the verge of getting preeclampsia and everything like that. So he ended up asking me, like, how do I feel about being induced? And I told him, you know, I felt cool with it, you know, because, look, remember, I told you I was ready to have him. Baby, I couldn't sleep no more. I couldn't turn no more. I couldn't do nothing. So after that point came, he was like, okay, well, let me see what the hospital can fit you in, and what you guys can do to, you know, get checked in early so we can induce you. So he sent me home. Around, I want to say around 6 o'clock, they called me and they said that they had a spot for me. And I ended up going in around 8 o'clock, and I started becoming induced. So when I got to the hospital, what they did first was they hooked me up to the machine and everything like that, put everything on there to see if he was, you know, to hear his heartbeat and everything like that. And then they took this little pill and they put it, you know, up there, and it starts the process, right? Because they can't really give you the Pitocin like off the bat. They kind of got to, like, you know, warm you up to it, right? So I did that, and like I started feeling like the small little contractions. So at one point I was like, damn, this shit hitting. So I ended up getting this drug called, it was called Tramadol or something like that, but it was, oh no, it was Steridol. And baby, that's the highest I've ever been in my life. I'm telling you, ain't nothing to fucking with that. That shit had me high as hell. When I say, like, literally the whole room was spinning, look, that shit was the shit, okay? For real. So they ended up giving me that, and I started to dilate. I dilated to about 5 centimeters, and then the nurse kept trying to check for the baby's heartbeat, right? And he was not responding well, because when they started giving me the Pitocin and I got my epidural and everything like that, that Pitocin was literally making me have contractions, like not even every minute. It was like a couple of seconds, and I feel like it was too fast for him, and he was getting distressed, and he wasn't, you know, it was too much. Sorry, my phone cut off again, so I ended up, you know, just finishing my walk, and I just, you know, decided I was going to finish the story. So anyway, so basically I left off at the point where the contractions were coming really, really fast, and it was, you know, a lot for Kamari. So the nurses, you know, let me tell you how they be working, okay? So I'm laying there, and, you know, the nurse is, you know, trying to find the heartbeat and everything like that. And I kept hearing a lot of movement going on, right? Like, you see people running back and forth, and you know, I'm laying down and I'm looking out the door, but I'm looking at the nurse on the left of me, right? And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, hey, is everything okay and everything like that? She ain't saying nothing, right? She ain't doing too much talking, but I could tell that something was going on, right? So all I heard on like the speaker was like emergency C-section, and I'm like, at this point, because I was still like, I'm under epidural, and then also I was still getting that Steridol, so I'm still kind of loopy, but I'm listening, you know what I'm saying, and I'm hearing, and I'm like, emergency C-section. So all I see is all these people just running around like fast, right? And so I'm like, at this point, I'm still not really comprehending that they was talking about me, right? I'm over here thinking like, somebody next door about to go have an emergency C-section. So all of a sudden, the nurse that was on my left-hand side, she starts yanking, cords out of the wall, all kind of stuff. A whole nother table comes in, like a surgery table, and I'm like, hold on, what the fuck is going on? So now I'm completely and utterly like scared as hell, because I did not know what's going on. I'm like, is the baby okay? Like, what's going on? And nobody is telling me nothing, like, nobody. You know what I'm saying? So they end up, like, literally, like, picking me up and throwing me on this table, right? And so all of a sudden, I just start being, like, swooshed down the hallway, right? So they're pushing me. I'm sitting. At this point, I'm starting to cry. I'm like, what's going on? Is he okay? I'm just like, I was scared shitless. You hear me? So when I got into the operating room, basically, they're asking me, like they're poking at me, right? Like, so they're asking me like, can you feel that? Can you feel that? And I'm like, yeah, I can feel that. So, I'm like, yeah, I can feel that. Don't you cut me. I can feel that shit. Okay. So, an anesthesiologist walks in and he's like, man, look, we're just going to put her to sleep because we got to get that baby up out of her. So he literally comes in and he's just like, look, we're going to put you to sleep. And there was this nurse and she was on the side of me and I'm crying because I don't even know what to do. I'm just all over the place. I'm worried about the baby. I'm worried about me, everything. And she was just like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And she's like, do you want to pray? And I was like, yeah, and she prayed for me. And I don't even know that lady's name, but it was just like, once she prayed for me, like, you guys, like, I just felt like the calmest feeling. And I remember that the anesthesiologist, he came up to me and he put the mask on my face and he was like, just count from 100 down. And literally, I think I said 100 and I was out. You know what I'm saying? I was out. And so I woke up and, my doctor was in there because literally my doctor had just checked me before everything started going on, and he was like, you should be having the baby at like 7 o'clock. Well, no, it was around 7 o'clock when he, checked me. And so 7 p.m. when he checked me. So he was like, you'll probably be having the baby about 12 a.m., which would have been, on Tuesday, but it would have been like actually it would have been that Wednesday. It would have been the 11th because literally I was in labor for like a whole 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? So he had just left and literally I had to have that emergency C-section. So he was literally in the car driving to leave, and his actual partner had to be the one to actually cut me open and everything like that. So when I woke up on the table, I saw my doctor, and my doctor was looking at me and he was like, I bet you're wondering where your baby is. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, he's fine, everything like that. He's with dad. So I was like, okay, like good. So I didn't feel lightheaded or nothing. I actually felt really, really good. I was able to, when they pushed me back into the delivery room, my boyfriend had my son in his hands and everything like that. And I asked him, I was like, can I hold him, And they were kind of like, the doctors and stuff were kind of nervous because they were like, you're still under anesthesia, but I was really good. So I was able to hold him and everything like that. And so before my boyfriend gave it to me, I was like, did you count his feet and his hands and his fingers and stuff? And he was like, yeah, he's good. I was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? So, I had a really hard time, trying to get him to latch on so that I could breastfeed him and everything. Because, every woman, that has kids and stuff, they know like that skin-to-skin contact is something that, it's important when you first have a baby. That's how you and the baby bond. And I didn't have that moment because I had an emergency C-section, so I really couldn't really hold him like that. You know, even when I did hold him, when I went back into the delivery room, like, they kind of really didn't want me to, like, really hold on to him like that, you know. So, I ended up, you know, really I had to take a step back because I really couldn't really hold him too much. So, when I did really get a chance to, like, really start holding him again, it was like probably like a day after the anesthesia pretty much wore off. And so I was cool, you know, I was bottle feeding him and everything like that. So when I eventually, you know, got discharged and went home and everything like that, that's when my anxiety started to kick in. Because really, it was like, you know, that whole time that you're in the hospital, like, I had my boyfriend there, but he was going to work during the day. So it was just me and, like, nurses and different things like that coming in and out. But they were there to help me. So when I got home, I was just like, damn, like, this is it. It's me and you, buddy. It's me and you. So, you know, I didn't notice how real postpartum depression really was. And I didn't think that I would have, excuse me, I don't think that I would have really dealt with it, but I did. You know, it wasn't like, I don't think I had a severe case of it, but I did have a moment, like moments where I just felt like, dang, like, you know, I literally was scared of my son. And it's crazy because it was like, it wasn't that I was scared, you know, to take care of him. It was just like, he was so small and so little. I did not want to. I felt like I was going to break him. I did not want to break him. Like, literally, I would, like, just feel so overwhelmed. And then my boyfriend, you know, he worked at night, you know what I mean? So, like, he would be there during the day and it was cool and everything. But then, like, he would go to work at, like, about 2 o'clock. And so it would just be me and him. And, you know, my son was such a good baby. He was so good. But I just still had that, you know, that feeling. And, you know, we go through that a lot. And it's good to talk about it. You know what I mean? You know, pregnancy and everything, it's a great experience. It is one of the most miraculous experiences you could ever experience in your life. And it changes your body. It changes your mind. I mean, everything transforms. Not just your body, but everything transforms. You know what I mean? And I am so happy to be his mom. I enjoy him. He is the love of my life. I never felt like I could fall in love like that. You know, it's unconditional. It's, you know, it's amazing and it's great. And I wouldn't have changed what I went through for the world if it meant that I was going to have him here today. And that is the best thing that ever could have happened to me. So that was just a little bit of my labor and delivery story. I just want to share that with you guys because I just thought that, you know, a lot of people go through different things when they have, you know, kids. And I just thought that maybe, you know, somebody else was going through what I went through, you know what I mean? But it was amazing. And thank you guys for listening. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Do everything. Do it all. You know, and you guys have a blessed week. Enjoy your day, and I will see you on the next one.